Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is truly a fantastic Friday, and as we get ready for most of us to head back to school, wow, excitement, exhilaration, a lot of trepidation, teacher, student, and parent. But it's open line until 1:30 as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. 1-800-534-TALK. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. Until 1:30 or so, we're going to have some open line. 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. You know, just had a couple of interesting discussions earlier, and I'm enjoying all the opportunities to be able to speak to our people about many different issues. And I'll share with you some of those, not the least of which is the schools and uniforms. But at the outset, hopefully you've been able to be part of our programming all day, joining my colleagues in, celebrating with and sharing our love and affection to Mr. Varian, affectionately called Papa by his, children, grandchildren, those close in the community as he celebrates his 90th birthday. So a special happy birthday, from all the family, and I know Miss Susan is gonna play him a special song. And days like today, they're special in their own right, and probably even more so when they're celebrated. We know our national hero, Miss Sybil, celebrates her birthday as well. Hey, right within my own family, I got her mother celebrating as well. But hey, don't get too public sometimes. I keep things private. But I believe all the birthdays and celebrities included, the one individual that we're going to celebrate with, taunt, tease, antagonize, otherwise, publicly humiliate, Reverend Joel Wilson. I think is he 18 today, Miss Susan? I think he's 18. He's finally, becoming an adult. We're not sure he's going to be maturing any, but Joel Wilson celebrates his birthday today. And if I can have any fun with him today, we're going to bring him in the studio. And now I say this respectfully. Joel and I go back a long way. He's been here at Radio Cayman, and I remember him from school. A truly, truly wonderful young man who has a gifting and an aptitude, and to watch him come into his own. This is where I've said to him, in our schools, we have people who learn differently, who will learn, learning is off the chart, but sometimes we don't know how to accommodate them. That was 40,000 years ago when we were in school. Sadly, it's probably the same thing now. It may be the same in other countries, with great respect to them. Not really care about that too much. We need to be concerned about what we're doing here for a betterment. So as Joel Wilson enjoys his birthday, Mr. Wilson, come in the studio, man. Take a bow. He's here working on his days off, on his vacations. That's not a bow, sir. We can't hear you or see you. He is very diligent, very industrious, and from the production to his programming, he does an excellent programming. Now you hear his commercials that he produces. That voice is truly, almost like a symphony, man. He has an incredible ability. I know he is, props. His preference is to always be behind the mic, never in front of the camera. But hopefully he allows me to celebrate with him and to share not just his accomplishments on his special day, but to maybe have See, this is why, sometimes I only wish you could hear what our staff shares with us. Oh, fair enough, Mike. Well, maybe it'll cause us as parents and as teachers and as policymakers in particular to start to look at our students and their schools and to see that we're familiar with multiple intelligences. We've seen studies that indicate, people learn differently. We understand some of the learning styles and all these things. But, man, what are we doing? With great respect, it's good that we can find money, whether we got to borrow it and pay it back over generations. If it's going to invest in our education and our people, great. But it's not just the money, it's the people. And there are a couple of things that I want to share with you in a bit that hopefully it hurts and offends you as much as it did me. But you know what? If you ignore that festering sore, you think it's going to go away? I'll pray that it might not become any worse, but our physicians will tell you sometimes that niggling feeling is just an initial indicator of what could be. If you ignore it, it might get worse. So as we celebrate Joel's birthday in particular, I commend all of the teachers and students who are, willing to invest heavily in our education and upward, development. Happy birthday to all. Now, it's open line. Let's have you share your thoughts with us. I won't endeavor to sing at all. I had a friend earlier, who I said, man, I kind of wish I was out on the sailboat. Just an North song, even if there was nothing around. He said, even then, you should even sing. Not even if you were in earplugs. But it's open line, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Now, a couple of things on education. We understand that, without question, parent as well as pupil, from the politician to the principal, we all believe that education is, a priority. And it's great. Sometimes we get it wrong, partly because we're ignorant and arrogant to, what's before us. We believe our way is the only way. Sometimes we're just misguided, misled, not because we're malicious, but certainly we're just misinformed. Other times, we are trying and there's little or very little available to us. But in this era of technology, in this time of development, and this seamless access to certain resources, maybe we should be getting it right. Now, is it that we're looking particular accolades for ourselves and want to have one more notch as part of our legacy, or are we truly willing to invest heavily? What I'm about to share with you, like I said, I hope from the perspective that it offends you like it offended me, to the point that we start to demand more of ourselves as we hold each other accountable, as we accept responsibility for what is transpiring. So, earlier, this week, yesterday included, I shared with you a discussion with some educators. And I just lumped them in, partly those active in the system, public and private, those who are now retired, and those who are, in their minds, on the periphery of education. They're not directly involved with classroom management or teaching. They support different programming. They assist in certain ways. So, in my mind, educators, we are all educators, in our own right, and we educate, whether we understand it or not, whether we mean to or not. That example that we set and that people see, especially our young people, that they follow, well, that's part and parcel of what it is. Now, this group, a small group of individuals, were almost, beside themselves. Perhaps, maybe that'd be the best way to put it. Where they were saying, in today's world, we constantly look at how things, transpire, and we're quick to point fingers. But we're never willing to look at it from the perspective of, well, who is really responsible and who can really influence? And a few individuals have shared that when we come to teaching, are we always, despite what we say publicly, when we get into the classrooms, when we ask as parents, well, what did little Johnny learn today? Can I see Johnny's grades? We're looking and measuring it perhaps in an archaic fashion. 949 837 or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon, my friend. How are you today, man?
Well, good morning. Kind of humid, no?
Yeah.
Comes autumn next month. Autumn coming next month. That season. You know, Sterling. You see, I talk in predominance, you know, today, right? Nelson Mandela, we incarcerated 20 years, right? George W. Bush Jr., right? He was in the Air Force. And Donald Trump, when Ivy League, I don't finish it. Education is essential, it's fundamental, and intellectual, right? But in Cayman here, Sterling, she not valid.
It's not valid, huh?
No, not in Cayman.
Not respected either.
Yeah, you see the port in education is a football field, arena, gaining. You know, that's gain or lose, you know? Yeah, that's like a conundrum, a puzzle. It's simple, no?
Yeah.
You know, it's simple means, but stop using it, man.
What do you think? Sorry, go ahead. I cannot.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Why do you think that we don't value and education, we don't respect it? We talk about it, we spend a lot of money collectively, you know, the individual, the private sector, the government, today, last year, 100 years ago, probably the same in the future. But why is it that we don't seem to have that priority that we think we should have?
I mean, don't hate the beat, no? I ain't got my station, got my minister, hate the beat. It preference to me. Dedication, a preference. Some people are born here, and some of them goes Cayman, right? And they get the benefit now.
They get the benefit.
The spectrum they're working now. No, sorry, I don't afraid talking now. I don't afraid nothing. Or my shadow, or hurricane, or tsunami. I don't afraid nothing. But it pick a, you know? It's specified for certain people. You understand? You know? But the education thing, you know, Cayman politics based on Christianity, right? You know, in morals, proper dilemma and stuff, right? But the education thing is scare tactic. You know, about here, Sterling, she not valid. Believe me, she not valid. You know?
Yeah.
You know what you valid for, Sterling? Dwayne? Overseas. But down here, that's over.
But that's the thing, you see. You listen to some people and you even hear where it appears, despite what they may say publicly, and sometimes even when you listen closely, there's almost as if they're not only trying to create a disincentive, but to openly and actively discourage Caymanians from pursuing continuing studies. You know, there are other ways to learn. But truly, if our people, when they go to apply for a job, they say, well, you don't have the qualifications. Or when they do, they say you don't have sufficient experience. There always seems to be something. There's a
Look at the law firm factor there, right? In Cayman. Law firm, 1,000 odd. Every day they inclining and they have the same.
Okay.
And that's how I feel now, but I know my vocabulary, I know what's saying. You understand? It's logical common sense, no? Like I said earlier on, look at Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro Sr. under the son communist. Donald Trump under impeachment. Start more time.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Listen, I always appreciate listening to you. You are, if you don't mind me saying, not just very intelligent, very insightful, and words of wisdom. I hope people listening would appreciate you and a couple of others are calling that what you have to share, it's worth listening to. Hey, thank you very much, sir. 1-800-534-8255. Maybe a good little time to take a quick little break. It's almost, that 15 minutes. And when we come back, perhaps on that individuals sort of setting the tone, we can tell you about discussion. But give us a shout, man. I mean, call up. Who knows, Susan would answer. If you don't speak up, who's going to hear you? What are you going to say? Hey, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's new kitchen and bath center.
Nursing, education, social work, media studies, hospitality, electrical, plumbing, AC. Wow, I didn't even know that the University College of the Cayman Islands offered all that.
Yes, all that and more, as well as event management and QuickBooks. They also did customized training for our staff last month. Hey, didn't your son just graduate from high school? Take him so he can apply for the fall semester.
Pursue your academic and professional goals at UCCI. Admissions are ongoing. Classes start August 27th. Visit them or call 623-8224 to learn more.
The summer party has started, so watch out for great mobile deals and amazing free gifts from Flow. This summer, get the LTE Stream and Talk prepaid combo that suits you on the fastest 4G LTE network. Share the summer fun with a Flow Large Up combo for $19.99 with 2 gigs of data and 500 minutes to any local number. Plus, you can get free gifts from Flow, like barbecue grills, groceries, and air travel vouchers. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply. Get your Flow prepaid combo and say, watch out, summer!
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valuable customers that it will be installing new water infrastructure near to the roundabout on Elgin Avenue at the intersection with Hospital Road from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, the 26th of August, 2018. During this time, motorists are asked to avoid the area whenever possible and to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. Traffic signs will be posted in the vicinity of the work area and the authority will be directing traffic. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of the motoring public as it upgrades its water infrastructure to better serve its customers and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us here. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. It's open line. Share your thoughts with us as you so choose. I invite you to be a part of our discussion and, have us engage from your perspective. 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Of course, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Got a couple of WhatsApps to share with you as well. But just prior to the break, as the caller was sharing, perhaps, as I reflect on that now, it sort of resonates with me because of what some individuals had relayed earlier when it comes to education. The fact that sometimes students are challenging in classrooms, but they're not given the support that they need. Sometimes, we see them, as one teacher say, acting up. But what are we doing to address that issue? Sometimes the parents themselves need resources. But to that caller's point, that there are those people in our society that seemingly are at a better, position, given more advantages and preferences over the Caymanians. Is that something that should be happening? Is there a way to ensure that there's a more equal and equitable distribution of our resources? I'll give you an example. From the discussion today, it was alleged that in some schools, government and private, some of the resources are being consumed by some at the expense of others. Perhaps you say, well, that's par for the course. But should it be? Some have said that you'll find that, in specifically, say the government schools, you'll find that maybe one school is getting the lion's share as opposed to another school. Perhaps a segment of the students are getting access to the extra help, and as a result, that extra help isn't available to be shared with other students in other classes or in other schools. But more importantly, some says there are teachers and other personnel within the school, contracted or otherwise, who just should not be there. They have very little to contribute. In fact, they're disruptive, not just argumentative, but as was alleged to me, some of them openly engage in a behavior that is inappropriate with staff and with the students equally, and yet nothing is done. It was alleged that one instance some time back, whether that was this last school year or 10 school years ago, I didn't inquire. A particular teacher was just being bounced from one school to the next instead of being disciplined or the issue being addressed. To instances where you get allegations, and sometimes we may believe they're unfounded, but when the allegations go unheeded and the issue comes to a head and the situation ends up in court, then is it more of an attempt to do damage control to avoid embarrassment to the school or to further members of the community, as opposed to acknowledging that it was an ongoing issue that for some reason we were unwilling or unable to deal with. Now, these are some of the challenges I think our communities are facing today, and unfortunately we are, even now as I relay some of the things that were shared with me today, I thought this can't be, not in this era, not in Cayman. Surely, we have people that would not allow that to even, continue for a minute, but seemingly it does. Let me read this WhatsApp that came through. It says, most people spend their entire life, searching for the very thing they already have, not realizing it's not the absence of something that creates the desire for want, but the inability to recognize and embrace all that has been within our grasp to begin with. So we ambitiously set out on a fruitless journey that consumes to not our only valuable resource, time. We must step back a few places and stare upon our reality and appreciate it for what it is. So the definition of happiness is not one's spending ability or all the vanity that we can attain, but how one spends our time and with whom, creating a bank of unforgettable experiences and an endless catalogue of subconscious memories that will last for eternity, giving us a slice of heaven here on earth. And that's the thinkings of Mario Rankin. So I appreciate him taking a minute to share that with some of us. Very pensive, profound and sometimes introspective, and as he reflects upon it, it may cause us to become equally philosophical. It is open line though, 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Then the other thing that I want to share with you, we had referenced early in the week a discussion with a number of business people. Following from that, one of the individuals took a few minutes extra early today to say, here's the tourism management plan. It's being launched now. Is it, he says, that he's becoming cynical in that perhaps governments, we see it across the globe, certainly we've seen it here, that they try to distract the public's attention so that they can move on with an agenda. They try sometimes to, take us down a path that maybe misleads us into believing certain things. But she says in all her years of looking at tourism, the challenging and vexing thing is that no one, no private sector entity, whether it's an individual or an organization, no politician, whether as a government collectively or as an individual, whether it's a tourism minister or whether it's someone whose sort of portfolio is either planning development or the environment, seemingly is willing to consider that we need to have a better understanding of what we talk to and refer to as the carrying capacity, or whether it's the amount of people that Georgetown can comfortably and safely accommodate and manage on any particular day or within the span of that day, or whether it's the attractions including the Sandbar and Stingray City, whether it's the Turtle Farm or Pedro or the Botanic Park, or even our shops and restaurants or roads, the infrastructure. We're not looking at how much can be safely, that issue of carrying capacity. Now, she says that over the years, there have been many people, some public pundits, others who are seeing it for potential what it could be long term with respect to not just an increasing population, but one that has become, somewhat competitive. Now, she says she used that deliberately because sometimes we fail to appreciate that competition in and of itself isn't bad, but when it becomes cutthroat, that people, in order to survive, they not only cut corners, they become underhanded, and they deploy strategies that, at the end, not only could devalue the experience, but could compromise the integrity and reputation of our jurisdiction. And she believes that when it comes to tourism, that may be what is happening. Perhaps on a small scale, perhaps, she says, in an isolated incident. But she questions, what happens on the public beach when people go there and they're just tussling and rustling and wrestling and haggling, and the inability of people to move back and forth? Not just the access to the beaches and the use of the beaches, but the vending that goes on. We ignore that. What about how it's positioned along our roadways and in our town centers and the like? She says equally, what about the bars and the restaurants, the not so stellar service that some get, or perhaps the practice? She gives an example where she thought, could there be a greater sense of responsibility? Not that we should pass legislation that punishes or sanctions bartenders, but and she commended the training initiative recently to try to get staff within the hospitality sector to understand that customer service also extends to being able to say no. But she relays a story where a sole individual goes to one of the beach bars and orders a drink and orders another drink and then orders another drink, and to the point where that person now has not only become incapacitated, but who would be liable and responsible? Who would feel, as she says, guilty and remorseful if something then happened to that individual? Perhaps the individual stumbles and falls and hits and suffers an injury, perhaps something worse. And that, she shared, is that something that we're thinking of in terms of providing a quality product and service. That yes, we want you to come and frequent it, and it's your money, you're of age, go ahead and spend if that's your choice to get, so inebriated that you can't stand straight. But should there be a greater sense of responsibility, a different mindset? Or is it, she says, like everything else, it's just about a bottom line? We buy a product for 1 cent and we sell it for $1,000. And you know what? The customer is no wiser. Well, the profit is all ours. But should we really look at enhancing their product and their service so people feel that there's value in it, that we're not going to? And a phrase that she had introduced me to many moons ago, getting a 6 for a 9. Perhaps that's what's happening in many respects here. She also related an instance where it got her to start to look at this issue more closely. So it could be because they were out and they were having a bit to drink and to eat. Maybe it was because it was a large party. Whatever the reason. So they were out some time ago, and when they were ready to pay, she got the server to bring over the check, the bill. She presented her credit card to pay for it. When they came, she looked at the amount, and when she was analyzing it the next day, she realized she made a couple of things. Was it the lighting? Was it the atmosphere? Was it just an unfortunate error, or was it that the bartender, the wait staff, the personnel saw an opportunity to maybe take advantage of the situation? Now, she's been inclined to believe that maybe because when she went back the next day, there was no recourse. What ended up happening, she said, is that the amount was there were two sums, US and the CI. She didn't realize that the gratuities were already included. She then, calculated it again and included it, and thought something as simple as that. It's not even so much the amount. It's the way it was done and handled then and after. Perhaps she thought, the wait staff had said, listen, this is the CIA in the US. Some confirm whether the card is, CIA or US. Say, gratuities are already included. Here is the percentage. And she thought, why can't we make sure when we understanding that a lot of us who, are here as guests or as visitors, that we are from perhaps a place where, we're not familiar with the currency and the exchange rate and the like. But she thought it just means that some people see an opportunity to make a little bit extra. And that short-term gain, how could that affect us potentially negatively down the road? 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Got a break, perhaps some calls to join us as well, so please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Hello, Cayman. My name is Saleha Green. I'm your contestant number 1 representing Georgetown.
It's Leticia Bush. I am contestant number 2 and I'm representing Bordentown.
Contestant number 3, Trinity Dixon, representing Bordentown.
My name is Aaliyah Harrison and I'm representing the beautiful district of West Bay.
I'm Caitlin Seymour, contestant number 5, representing the district of Bordentown.
You're listening to Radio Cayman.
Join us on August 25th for the 30th annual Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant held at the Lion Center.
Be there! Be there!
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Kirk Freeport Clearance Center is now open. Kirk Freeport needs to make space for new season merchandise and is offering clearance discount pricing on a wide range of china, crystal, jewelry, watches, and accessories in a brand new clearance store. Located in the Town Center Plaza next to Burger King in downtown Georgetown, new stock will be added all the time, giving you a brand new clearance store to shop every week. The Kirk Freeport Clearance Store is open in Georgetown now. Outrageous discounts with new stock all the time. Get down early and often to avoid missing out.
Did you know that garbage containers must be accessible to DEH collection crews at all times? They must not be placed in a manner that will impede the flow of traffic. Garbage bins must instead be stored in enclosures that are either placed at the front of the property or at the side that is accessible to collectors from the roadway. To prevent injury to collection crews, kindly ensure that your enclosure has an access gate. For more tips on proper waste handling, please visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today, 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. Invite you to call you with us if you want to share your thoughts via the phone, or you can also WhatsApp 925-3261. As much as I believe radio is radio and the other stuff isn't, well, Miss Susan reminds you, hey, tell people YouTube streaming live. So you go to YouTube and you type in Radio Cayman live stream and you can see all the good stuff. Boy, I don't know. I guess I should just be as handsome as my brothers and then it wouldn't be so bad. But, what can you say? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. I can say this though, sincerely and very gratefully. You guys who share your thoughts with me, whether it's in the supermarket, whether sometimes just walking across a park. Our country is informed and involved. Sadly, as some of you have shared, you're still kind of afraid to say things. Now, I'll say this to you only for two reasons. One, the caller earlier said, we're in a government station, so there's always this reticence and reservation because of this perception. And secondly, because of what the lady shared with me earlier. She says, when did we get to the point where we are so afraid of our politicians and our government? And she lamented about a few things. I thought, maybe it's our perception, and maybe we need to kind of redefine that. We need to realize that Radio Cayman is, not a station for the government. It's for us. The funding of it is by all of us who, our taxes go in. Now, it's being administered and managed, but if it becomes a point where, as almost was alleged earlier, but certainly was more directed by the lady earlier, she said, if we allow it to become a political propaganda machine, like we see in other Caribbean territories and certainly not unlike in other places, then we can't, honestly, we can't blame anybody else but ourselves. So just like our listeners in the past would call in and say, hey, I would like to see more sports programming, I'd like to see, more of the cultural stuff, or I would like to hear more of the BBC or some of the world news or the regional news. We try to be responsive. It is a station for all of us, so I can respectfully ask for talk today. If we can do it better and more and different, and the things that you want added and included, let us know. Just like you call in and request a song, if it's in a segment where it's appropriate. I mean, I would probably say that if, when Joel is making his jams in 3 to 6, and like when I would call in for some of the songs I like, he say, yeah, that's a good song, but that's for Susan to play, not for him, because it's just the songs that I like. So that particular segment that he's doing is for the young people with their happening songs. People like me who are a little bit more, I would say, north of 18. Hey, we might like a little more country than we live in something. Now, we were sharing with you earlier that there were certain sentiments expressed by a few individuals, and I found some of them to be, to the point where you what do I say, make your blood boil in a sense. And education is important. We want our teachers to be the very best. We want our students to come to school prepared to learn. We want our parents to be engaged and not just drop their children or children find their way to school. And we understand there's a lot going on. There are a lot of demands on our families, a lot of disquiet within our families. But what can we do? Now, one of the things that not necessarily referencing that vein this morning, but one of the things is that two parents had called me earlier and said they're always supportive of uniforms, whether it's in a private school or a public school. It makes getting ready for school that much easier. It sort of levels the playing field. But if we're going to have a dress code that isn't one given sufficient time for parents to get rid of or be able to comply with, then what is, why? We know school was going to start back. We know what date it was going to be. Why the delay? Equally, will it be now another costly endeavor? Her view, one of the parents, her view was that when we go into school, are we spending so much time on some of the other things that we have no time for teaching and learning? Now she thinks that there is an opportunity for students to have a sense of individuality, but should we, allow them to be so constrained and restricted that they are finding ways to rebel? Now, she says if a boy comes to school with his hair long, once it's not unkempt, does that really matter? If a girl comes to school with her hair really, really short, does that matter? She says, now, although she's not one in for piercings and tattoos and the like, but the child has, multiple ear piercings, as long as they're not in a way that could create a risk to the child, whether something deliberately or inadvertently happens. She recalls one time, playing a particular sport. It was netball, I guess, just to give it no contact, and she had on a particular, chain or pendant, and thought that by having it tucked into her uniform, it would have been good. Now, her players, her coach, says even, her aunt had said, you may want to take that off. But she felt that was part of her, her good luck. And somewhere during the game, she lost it. They looked for it after, and however it happened, it just got lost. It wasn't an expensive thing. It just had a lot of sentimental value. So whether it's hoop earrings or chains or watches or other, bits and pieces, maybe when we're playing a sport, we don't, have them on us. But surely if a child wears something like that to school, if it's not stolen or if it's not offensive in a certain way, why then, can a child wear that? If the parent were to consent to the child getting a tattoo, now, should that be an issue? Should it need to be, covered up? Many times she shares that we're doing it now. She sees sometimes that the students, perhaps their behavior in schools, perhaps are things that we need to look at. Now, if the hair is blue or if the shoes are red, does that really matter whether the child learns or not? Does everybody have to have a black shoe or a brown shoe or a white shoe or a blue shoe? Now, her style and her preference is one thing, but what about the other family? Now, your thoughts. 8949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. The other parent, not only in relation to uniforms and the decision to have a uniform code, she thought there was always a uniform code. But one of the challenges is that some things are overlooked by some teachers and some things are heavily enforced by others. So lack of consistency, a lack, she says, of, some teachers not just following the rules, but their lack of sensitivity towards certain circumstances. She shared that in her household, she certainly, doesn't think of herself as, being poor, but things are hard financially. So the children can't each have, one uniform for every day of the week. There are days where they have to rewear the uniforms. And she thought, well, can we look at it from the perspective of... Well, that was an interesting perspective there. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. If you send us a WhatsApp, we'll look at it for you. Sometimes we just got to remember that we got to send it through the system there, and we'll get to that in a bit. Or toll free at 1-800-534-TALK, 1-800-534-8255. We'll pause and we'll take a break, pick up our headline news at 1. Come back, there'll be some open line. You can share your thoughts with us if you so choose. You can also email talktoday@candw.ky. Likewise, if you wish, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Our news headlines looms at 1 p.m. So we invite you to listen, hear what our news department has to inform you. When we come back, it'll be more open line until 1:30. And we're expecting to welcome a special guest, one of our young students who is going to continue to inform us in relation to a topic she shared last week. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
From tomorrow through November, the National Gallery will bring the worlds of art and fashion together in a new exhibition, The Art of Fashion. Director of the National Gallery, Natalie Urquhart, explains the exhibit features collections by Caymanian fashion designers Izzy B. and Jawara Alain. The first lecture is with Jawara Alain tomorrow, August 25th, at 6 p.m. in the Dart Auditorium. Admission to both the lecture and the exhibition is free and all are welcomed. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, U.S. Republican Senator John McCain will no longer be continuing treatment for his brain cancer. 81-year-old Mr. McCain was diagnosed with an aggressive form of brain tumor last summer and had been undergoing treatment since July of 2017. Bad news for those who enjoy what they think is a healthy glass of wine a day. Well, a large new global study published in The Lancet has confirmed previous research which has shown that there is no safe level of alcohol consumption. The researchers admit moderate drinking may protect against heart disease, but found that the risk of cancer and other diseases outweighed these protections. And a British couple who died on holiday in Egypt suffered heart and respiratory failure, local authorities have said. 69-year-old John Cooper and his wife, 63-year-old Susan from Burnley, were staying at the Steigenberger Aqua Magic in the Red Sea resort of Hurghada. The couple's daughter, who was also staying at the hotel, said she believed their deaths were suspicious. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Nursing, education, social work, media studies, hospitality, electrical, plumbing, AC. Wow, I didn't even know that the University College of the Cayman Islands offered all that.
Yes, all that and more, as well as event management and QuickBooks. They also did customized training for our staff last month. Hey, didn't your son just graduate from high school? Take him so he can apply for the fall semester.
Pursue your academic and professional goals at UCCI. Admissions are ongoing. Classes start August 27th. Visit them or call 623-8224 to learn more.
Don't forget to tune in every Monday through Friday for the 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National Bank, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Did you hear that Vant Motors has your sale going on now? And you get your choice on the money you'll save on your new car or truck?
My sale? My choice? Really?
Yeah, and they have lots of cars on sale, some up to $7,000 off.
Sounds pretty good.
It gets even better. You can choose to take the full discount, or you can get some or all of it as cash back.
Extra cash back would be great.
Exactly. And you can even use the savings to extend your warranty or service plan so you'll drive worry-free for years longer.
Another good idea.
If you want to upgrade with something like a new roof rack or backup camera, you can choose that too.
Wow, I get to choose?
Yeah, that's why it's your sale, your choice. Going on now at Vant Motors on Walkers Road, while stocks last.
More than 450 small businesses are members of the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce. These businesses are the backbone of the economy and Cayman's unsung heroes for creating jobs, wealth and opportunity for future generations. Submissions for this year's Chamber of Commerce Small Business of the Year Award are now being accepted. Apply at businessexcellenceawards.ky. The Chamber's Business Excellence Awards are proudly supported by the Ministry of Commerce, Yellow Media Group and Brett Kay.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. I've got a few minutes now, of an opportunity to speak to Mr. P.J. Lawrence, Center for Theological Leadership and Training. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for dropping in and a couple of minutes to share with you.
Yes, sir.
How are you today, sir?
Fine, thank you. And you, sir?
Oh, listen, I tell people, I'm grateful for prayers. I'm thankful for being blessed. And despite we live in a sinful world, there are those of us who still, petition for kindness and goodness.
Yes, sir.
All right, the Center for Theological Leadership and Training. What is that for those of us who are unfamiliar?
Okay. I was on the island from 2000 to 2006. I was the director for Institute for Theological Leadership and Development. It is called ITLD. And we used to deliver programs on theology, Bible classes, counseling, and we have done certificate level, diploma level, degree, and even postgraduate in pastoral psychology and counseling. And we have more than 100 graduates from ITLD from those days. And now I have come after a long break of 10 years, and I noticed that ITLD is closed down. Therefore, we have started a new initiative. It is Center for Theological Leadership Training. As you know, leadership is there everywhere, and leadership at all levels has only delivered progress and development, but leadership has not really addressed justice, peace, equity, and, all these issues and values in the society. So theological leadership focuses on leadership, God-centered leadership. And then it's a training program. It is not an educational, academic program. It is to take people where they are and then build them up with biblical knowledge, theology, church history, psychology, counseling, and other related subjects so that people are developed as rounded leadership. And we are offering this program in the evenings and weekends. And we have already started this program from last September. And in the last 3 semesters, we have graduated about 63 participants. And we had a very good graduation ceremony at the Victory Tabernacle Church of God Prophecy. And we had the house full. And we are hoping to take them at a different level. They have completed their certificate in theology, and they will continue in diploma in theology. And we are also starting the first level again with the certificate in theology. And those who are doing diploma in theology after the next level, they can move on to bachelor's in arts, BA in theology.
Now, that bachelor's and the academic component, how would that be obtained and where would that be accredited through?
It is accredited through the ACTS Institute for Advanced Studies, and it is an international accreditation.
ACTS.
Oh, okay. International accreditation. And all that is on our website. We have a website, and all the details of our accreditation is on the website.
Now, this initial round is sort of introduction to the diploma part. How long does that take? You say you've had a number of students over the last semesters, but how long would that take for a student who commits to it?
Okay. The certificate level, we have 3 semesters. Each semester, we have 3 subjects, and each subject has 3 credits. So once they complete 9 subjects with those credits, they will be eligible for certificate. And then if they do another additional 3 subjects per semester, 9 subjects, which we are offering now from September, they will obtain diploma in theology. And after they finish that, we will take them to the next level of that degree in theology.
Right. Now, how long is a semester?
Semester begins, we have all the details here in the prospectus for 2018-2000.
Yeah, just come a little bit closer to the mic so that she can hear you. Yeah.
We have the prospectus here, 2018 to 2020, and in that you have the diploma program starting from 11th September to 15th November is the first semester. We are offering Introduction to Theology, General Epistles, that is Hebrews, Peter, John, James, Jude, other subjects, and then other letters. And then the third is Ministry 1, which covers counseling and caregiving. And the second semester will start from 15th of January to 21st of March, 2019. And there we are covering Introduction to Christian Ethics, Apocalyptic Literature, Daniel, Revelation, Ministry 2 with special groups like family, youth, children, elderly, music ministry, sports ministry, etc. And the third semester begins on 2nd April to 13th June 2019, and there we will be covering Introduction to the History of Israel, Introduction to World Religions, and Ministry 3, where you have social issues and concerns like crime and violence, drug and domestic abuse, suicide, etc. And these are all delivered in 10 classes of 2 hours each, and these classes will be held at St. George's Anglican Church Hall, opposite to Kirk Supermarket and behind Cox Lumber.
Down on Courts Road there. All right. St. George's. Now, for the reading and the sign works, what is that like? What are your texts? What sort of reading material?
We have lecturers who will be handing out the course outline with the texts, and they have prescribed texts for all these courses. And the lecturers who are qualified. And, for example, our theology, ethics, and world religions lecturer has done his PhD in theology. And the person who will be doing the counseling courses is a trained, certified counselor on the island.
Pastoral counseling or?
Pastoral counselor.
Pastoral. Okay.
And also we have the person who is working in the chaplaincy in the prisons, Kathy Gomez, who is our old student. She has done pastoral psychology, masters in pastoral psychology and counseling with us at ITLD, and she will also be supplementing in teaching counseling courses.
All right. So each semester is about 2 months or so long.
Yeah.
And 3 subjects.
About 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It will be 10 weeks.
Yeah. 2 months.
Yeah.
I mean, September the 11th through November the 15th is the first semester.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
And then we are repeating the certificate program, and the certificate program classes will be held weekends. That is Saturdays between 2 to 6 and Sundays between 4:30 to 6:30, and it will be held at the Victory Tabernacle Church of God Prophecy on Eastern Avenue. And the first semester, we are covering Introduction to Old Testament, Introduction to New Testament, and an overview of the church history. And in the second semester, Prophetic Tradition, Synoptic Gospels, that is Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and of course John complemented, Evangelism and Church Growth. And the third semester, we have it wisdom literature, that is Job, Psalms, Proverbs, and Pauline letters, Paul's letters of Paul, and then interpretation and preaching of the Word of God. That is how to interpret the Word of God and preach. And this will be starting from September this year and finish 16th of June next year. And this will be the certificate which we have already completed. As I said, we are offering again for those who are interested. We already have about 30 registered on this course already. And we are hoping that in the diploma course we have another 30 students. And all these courses are introductory courses. Anyone can take any subject anytime. And when they complete 9 subjects, they get certificate. And when they complete 18 subjects, they get a diploma. And then can move on.
So in order to do the diploma that you're offering as well, they will have to start and complete the certificate first.
Not necessarily. They can do it simultaneously because all the subjects are introductory subjects with no prerequisite.
Okay, and the classes are offered such that they could do it simultaneously?
Simultaneously, because the certificate is offered in the weekends and the diploma is offered during the weekday evenings.
What's the cost to do this?
Certificate program costs about $100 for a subject for 10 weeks, which when you break it down, it's about $5 an hour.
But in total, I mean, $100 a subject. In totality, how much would it be?
$300 per semester. And
for 3 semesters, so $900?
$900 for the certificate course.
Okay.
And there is a registration, one-time registration, which is $100. With that, you can do diploma and degree.
Okay, so $1,000 for each one.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You invest in our education. With that, then, once a person completes it, they get a certificate, they get the diploma, or they get either or. What then, how would that position a person? How would that?
Basically, we are looking at training the leadership at the grassroots levels at the church. For example, Sunday school teachers, youth workers, ministry, those who are involved in different ministries, caregiving, and they will be empowered with knowledge, skills, so that they can be effective in their respective churches. For example, if a church has a intentional discipleship for church growth, these classes are going to help them. People are doing evangelism, people are teaching a Sunday school, sometimes without much knowledge of the scriptures or the church history. Or a particular program is geared for basic level, so that those who are at leadership at the basic level in the church, they can be empowered with the knowledge of the Bible and the skills to communicate.
All right. Now, if I may ask, as the prospective students undertake their courses and realizing the investment over each semester, as it were, what else would be required? What sort of time commitment? It's only initially.
Yes, they would be given some assignments. These courses we have intentionally do not have exams, but they will be evaluated according to their class participation and presentations, as well as an assignment. So they will be given handouts, readings. So they will relate it. They'll have to relate it to their context where they are in terms of day-to-day their involvement and witnessing and ministry.
All right. Now, for those who want more information, what's the best?
Sir, we have given you the address here in the. We have given a flyer like this, now enrolling, and this flyer has all the information. And my phone number is 922-3902, and my email address is info@ctlt.ky, and our website is www.ctlt.ky. And our office is located on the upstairs of the church hall, St. George's Anglican Church, and we operate from there. And we also have few friends who are come forward to give their assistance to recruit. Ricardo Henry at 922-3207 and Winston Vernon at 324-8195. So these friends also will be able to register.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And as students, start to look at their own training, they'll see where I work from. So have a wonderful weekend and all the best, sir.
Thank you very much for having me and for this opportunity to share.
Thanks for sharing with us. Thanks to Ms. Susan for starting you as well.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to pause quickly and take a short break. When we come back, we ask you to rejoin us for more Talk Today. Please stay tuned.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Save 50% off a complete pair of glasses with any student eye exam. From now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook. Located in the Caymanian Village. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, in association with the Cayman Islands Cancer Society, presents Steve Higgins and Friends in Embracing Romance. An elegant evening with Dahlia Winter, April Marr, Amaya Lewis, and Steve Higgins. Sunday, September 2nd at the Marriott Beach Resort, 7 Mile Beach at 6 p.m. sharp. Come hear impeccable performances of timeless love songs, punctuated by riveting, stunning creative dance in a classy, romantic evening. Tickets at Funky Tangs or Super Stitch and Virtue, or call 916-5008. That's Embracing Romance, Sunday, September 2nd at 6 p.m. at the Marriott Beach Resort with Steve Higgins and friends. Proceeds will go to the Cayman Islands Cancer Society and the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens.
Sponsored by Harney's, NCB Capital Markets, S&P, Auger, and Radio Cayman.
Hello, Cayman. My name is Saleha Green. I'm your contestant number 1 representing Georgetown.
It's Leticia Bush. I am contestant number 2 and I'm representing Bordentown.
Contestant number 3, Trinity Dixon, representing Bordentown.
My name is Aaliyah Harrison and I'm representing the beautiful district of West Bay.
I'm Caitlin Seymour, contestant number 5, representing the district of Bordentown.
You're listening to Radio Cayman.
Join us on August 25th for the 30th annual Miss Teen Cayman Islands pageant held at the Lion Center.
Be there! Be there!
RC Fusion featuring Billboard pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12. RC Fusion, brought to you by Merengue Town. Take a walk on the wild side. It's time to feel the rhythm. Time to feel the vibes. It's time for Merengue Town. RC Fusion.
RC Fusion.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us as we invite you to be a part of our continuing programming. It's going to be some more open line until 1:30. And then 1:30 we have a discussion schedule regarding bullying and the like, so maybe we'll see what it goes. But for now, let's have some more open line and share with you, as you so choose. 8949-8037 or toll free 1-800-534-8255. Couple of comments came through that we were looking at just briefly during the break. And one, as I just read again as we were coming back, is talking about a public that is gradually becoming mobilized. It referred me to a link, and I didn't, honestly, as fast as I may be able to read, I don't think I could do it justice and read that, but as I quickly skimmed, it seemed like a text that I'm familiar with from a former life. And it talked about integrity and leadership. It talked about the whole idea that if a populace isn't, involved and hasn't found a common ground, then it can be easily laid like a sheep to slaughter. And so just a cursory overview of what the person sent. The gist of the text seems to indicate that that's where Cayman is presently. That we have people that we've elected and appointed, time and time again, as a trusting people that are our friends and our family, perhaps our business associates or neighbors, our fellow churchgoers and the like. And this person writes that we don't realize that they're human, that they may have been able to deceive us, that they may have themselves either become corrupted or co-opted and sort of intoxicated. I think it was a word that I saw in what a person wrote, by the position and by the power, by the, the pay and the trappings of the office, and as a result, may become misguided. It may have been their intentions all along, and may just have been what transpired. But the person shared a few quotes. Some, I think, looks like from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Others may have been attributed to the Dalai Lama. And generally speaking, they seem to refer to having a mindfulness with respect to our responsibility to maintain a sense of integrity with respect to our relations with others, and the need to, as I look at it, to be mindful that what we do now not only affects outcomes, but influences in future generations and the perception that they may have had of us, which in turn could affect how they view our ancestors and our offspring. This one gave an example of a particular person in our society. Called the person by name and said, not using this as an example for you to read publicly, but sharing that it is, because of how this person has behaved, how are we now looking at, that person's children and grandchildren and other relations? Do we see them in a favorable light? Do we believe, the chip doesn't fall far from the block? Are we now mindful of that behavior that we have? Likewise, the person says, everybody is quick to opt and says, hey, honest Abe, referring to the American president who we all said was so honest. Well, is that partly because of how history has, sort of been favorable and kind to Abraham Lincoln? Or is it that, he did have a sense of integrity? And as a result now, is that something that we're willing to champion, perhaps emulate in our own lives? The individual references current politics, from the current U.S. president to the unfoldings within the EU, not just Brexit, he writes, but what about what the German chancellor is doing? What about the concerns being expressed by some of the European nations relative to the Iran nuclear deal? And how would that affect us? And I share that to say that there are some of our people in our society that not only very pensive and insightful, but they are well read. They are certainly express concerns about things happening globally, whether economically, environmentally, whether politically. They try to relate that into the Cayman context. Maybe we, through our, funds or banking regime, perhaps facilitate some of those transactions. Perhaps as a result of the global politics, how would it affect our businesses here and the perception of our jurisdiction? But equally, our own lives and our safety and security, as this person shared. So it's recently on a particular trip, they found that when they went to this area, the security was even more heightened. And even in the past, where they would present their British passport or their Cayman passport or whatever is the passport that they have, there wasn't as much scrutiny then as it was recently. Is that because of something that is transpiring behind the scenes? Is it the things that are happening that we read about in the news that are causing people to be more weary of people that come to their shores? And the final point with that is why are we not in Cayman being likewise? Not to set up walls and prevent people from coming in, but to make sure that whether it's through fingerprinting or some other means that we are checking and securing our borders as best as possible, so that perhaps through international and regional cooperation with other law enforcement agencies that we're likewise being able to make sure. The writer says that we see instances from time to time where a person is deported from one jurisdiction and ends up here, perhaps under the same name, perhaps under an alias, and yet we seemingly have been unable to have detected that prior to the person entering our shores. How many more are here now? How many more have done that or are doing that? 8949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. There's another sentiment that I wanted to look at that was in the body of the text, but I have to try to see if I can scan it during our next break, and if it's what I think it is, maybe something to share with our listeners. But likewise, though, we invite you to do the same. As we pause and take up our next commercial break, we invite you to be part of the discussion. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Babe, not tonight. I need to be rested for all-day meetings tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I was almost asleep.
You keep poking me, and I can't sleep.
That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about. Not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
Advance Automotive is celebrating 10 years as Cayman's authorized Chevrolet dealer and is giving away $10,000 to one lucky customer to celebrate. Buy any new Chevrolet from Advance Automotive and you'll be entered to win $10,000 cash. Entries close 1st of December or after 100 cars sold, whichever comes first. Buy your new dream car and enter to win $10,000 cash for Advance Automotive's 10th birthday. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com for more details today.
Nursing, education, social work, media studies, hospitality, electrical, plumbing, AC. Wow, I didn't even know that the University College of the Cayman Islands offered all that.
Yes, all that and more, as well as event management and QuickBooks. They also did customized training for our staff last month. Hey, didn't your son just graduate from high school? Take him so he can apply for the fall semester.
Pursue your academic and professional goals at UCCI. Admissions are ongoing. Classes start August 27th. Visit them or call 623-8224 to learn more.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
We are Radio Cayman, and this is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman.
Sing your praise to the Lord. Come on, everybody, stand up and sing one more. Hallelujah, give your praise to the Lord. We are united in Jesus Christ. We are the soldiers of the land.
Praise time.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
There's a meeting up in heaven. Roll call. He's a name in the Lamb's Book of Life. Roll call, brother, sister. Roll call. If you don't stop shouting, if you don't stop dancing, we're going to put you out of our church.
Praise time.
Jesus in the morning, yeah.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
Your song flowed through my lips. Your work moved through my hands. Your thoughts stay on my mind. Live in me.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you for joining us. And in the studio now, an opportunity for you to join for a few minutes. Get some input and insight, kind of like you find the man on the street, but hey, why not the man in the studio, across the hall, your colleague at work. Ray Singh, you know him from our sales department. Others of you who had an opportunity over the years to listen to him. He is insightful, pensive, philosophical.
Pensive.
Yeah, I've seen you at work, man, and I'm thinking...
I've never really got the pensive...
No?
adjective. A few other choice words, colorful words may be used, but pensive never has been one of them.
You never see yourself as pensive?
I do at times. Yeah, no doubt.
I work with you. I come into your office sometimes to inquire about how things happen with the Breeze Fusion, whether something in the sales, maybe making a referral or something. And there you are. My impression, because your eyes are open and you seem to be working. I call it pensive. Now you may...
I call it a good poker face.
All right.
I guess have that steely-eyed outside demeanor.
I wouldn't say that.
No. It's,
all right. We're going to tap into a couple of things as a parent, as a father, but
sure.
Let's pick up these callers.
Sure.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green, and good afternoon to Mr. Singh.
Good afternoon, sir.
I didn't realize you'd have a guest on.
No, sorry.
Waiting on.
No, it's open line. Ray is just here joining me. Our guests haven't showed, so you are here, sir. Please, you are priority.
Well, I'm not. I'm just a regular half idiot, Cayman. If you give me a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
It is obvious to me over the last several years that a lot of our people, including journalists here and the news media, particularly in the United States, with an ultra-liberal outlook of the powerful news media there, where it's good and it's very advantageous economically to have an ultra-liberal outlook on things. We saw where it started with Woodward, that very ambitious and overzealous, ultra-liberal journalist Bob Woodward, when he went at his best to try to bring down one of the best and most capable men that ever was president of the United States. If anyone reads the history and goes into the history of the presidents and what they achieved in their time, so forth, you'll realize what I'm saying is the truth. What Richard Milhouse Nixon achieved in his 5 years or whatever it was, I'd have taken any other president 4 terms to have achieved. We won't go into that now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to guard our borders much better. We are naive people and we're not taking things seriously. This is a very different world from the 9/11 shocking thing. We knew from before these events had happened. General Jimmy Doolittle warned the world, American general there, in 1954 that we would face a different kind of warfare. He warned us. We saw it with the initiative of the Vietnam War, the guerrilla type of warfare, terrorism where people hid behind children and fired at Allied troops because they knew we wouldn't fire back. And they're still doing that, even much larger scale, going in churches, the Taliban, the other guys there. These people have no regard for life. And we've got to come to that understanding that they're different people we are fighting. So we have to develop different techniques. There's no negotiating with terrorists at all, as President Reagan has said to us, never. We cannot negotiate with terrorists. It does not work, and we've proven that. And we have to think differently and protect our borders much better than we're doing right now, and we will continue to do that. We must. And the fingerprinting, I agree with, and better identification for those coming. We can do it. We must. It may cost us something. There's a price to pay for diligence, but we must do it. But I suggest that people read up much more, especially our people here and our journalists here and our educators and everyone who calls in and talks about things on the Second World War, which changed the whole world forever. The second most important incident next to the birth and death and resurrection of our Master, the Second World War. It changed the world forever. And we must learn what happens now into place from then. What happened? Why Mr. Churchill, that great man, became Prime Minister over Chamberlain. All these things. And why we can't have a liberal president again in the United States. My opinion and the opinion of many others. With the school thing, I don't see why we're making such a big to-do over it. You have to have discipline in life. We go to a job and we are told you have to wear a uniform, have to have your shoes clean, look good and presentable to your customers or to whoever it is you're dealing with or whatever. And you have to obey the rules or you're out of the job. The same thing happens in the school. You must, and it's even much more so that must be in place from then at a young age, because you are not an adult yet earning your own money. You must obey rules. If there's a rule that says no earrings for the young girls, those who have had their ears pierced before, then you don't wear the earring. Those who have had a tattoo on them, which they should never have at 15 or 16, their parents allow that, then you send a note in and say, please forgive this child if they can cover up the tattoo somehow, but they need to go to school. Take out the earring from your ears or whatever. There must be some kind of, little bit of a bend there to accommodate that, but not a widespread thing. But we must obey rules. All the people have been asking for is discipline back in the schools for years. Now we seem to be moving towards that, and you must obey the rules, the dress code, everything must be obeyed. There must be no breaking the rule. There must be no bend. There must be nothing. You obey it, and that's it. It's just very, very simple. The old song, American song, you're in the army now.
Right.
You're not behind the plow, the farmer. You're in the army. You'll never get rich digging a ditch, but you're in the army now. So you're in school now. So that's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too, sir. Thank you too. And go to the next caller, really. Maybe lucky. Good afternoon and welcome here on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Welcome back, man.
Yeah, back on. I know the person, the caller, previous caller. I know the person, Mr. Husband. Very knowledgeable man. Very knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable indeed.
But starting, I'll be starting briefly right now. You see, we talk about the U.S. media, the press, right? You see Fox News? That's a Republican feedback, that press, that media. And CNN, more like left, Democrats, but Fox is Republican. And where you talk about today, guys, Barcelona, we talk about World War II. Certain countries rename now. They got the name changed now. You understand? So when you talk about the World War II, right? Especially the recent one, right? That's 60, 70 years ago, right? It's not. Certain countries get renamed. Look it up. So the man making sense. All right? Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks too, man. Thanks too very much. All right. Well, a couple more calls, Ray. Good luck, Ray. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. You on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon, Ms. Susan, and to all our listeners.
Afternoon, sir. How are you?
Afternoon.
Yes, sir. I'm spending time. I got a friend of mine on his 85th birthday up on the end of the bluff here, sitting down in a nice, cool spot by the lighthouse, and he wants to say something on the air. He is Mr. Mark Walton from Spot Bay, celebrating his 85th birthday today, and I made a special trip to take him out for a drive and show him around some of the things, because he hardly gets out anywhere. And he's here today. He's one of the survivors from the Sinclair Petrolor, one of the national bulk tankers that sank off the coast of Brazil, with a fire that claimed the life of one man, I think the late Mr. Alvis Smith from Grand Cayman. Mr. Mark was right there. A few other Cayman Brackers was on that ship at the time, so I got him up here looking at the sea, and they like memories when he used to walk up here to get the booby eggs and also cut tops, thatch tops for making thatch rope, where the family would survive from selling rope. So I'm going to put him on the phone here, but this is a very bad location for cell phone contact. The least little move you make, you can lose contact. So if you lose me or him on the contact, that's the cost of it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Here is Mr. Mark now.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Mark. Okay. Yeah, hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you today?
Not bad, and you?
Oh, I'm fine and richly blessed.
Amen.
Sterling, I am going to give you something, and I want you to look at it right now. It is called, I hear you having a little hard time.
With what?
But, with your school uniform. Go to school uniforms around the world,
Mm-hmm.
and you will see the countries, how those children go to school.
Mm.
That is why when they come here, they can get the jobs because they are trained from school. And they go to school properly dressed. It's called school uniforms around the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You look at that, and you'll have something to talk about.
Well,
some of these school uniforms around the world.
Yeah. But what is your view, generally speaking? I mean,
Sterling, we have to keep our children as children.
Right.
Okay, if you don't dress proper, your child can't pass it on.
Yeah, but I think you, me, and everybody else, we like the idea that our children are in school uniforms, that the uniform, not just that is traditional, not just that is perhaps economical, not just that is easy, and it helps us to identify that this, uniform is, this school and the like. I think most of us in our society like uniforms for work, for school, and the like.
Don't dress a child like a child, it becomes an adult too early.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have some of these children are telling their parents, you live your life, I have to live mine. I'm not cutting my hair like this. That's not right. My children couldn't tell me that. They would have to go and get their false teeth from the dentist. I couldn't tell my father that. I couldn't tell my mother that.
Mm-hmm.
We must have first respect starts at home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't teach your children any manners, that means they ain't going to be able to teach their children. And then we talk about how crime increased. This is how it's increasing because of the slackness of some of the parents. So you have to dress proper.
Mm-hmm.
So they look at young ladies going to work. Some of them look like they're going to a disco. Their dresses is like 1 inch below their bottom.
Going to work, yeah.
Yeah, that's not right. We have a dress code. A dress code is for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into a nightclub, then you dress like a nightclub. If you're going on the beach, you dress like me. But when you're going to school, you must dress like a school child, not like a man you're here with all kind of roads, all kind of colors. I mean, I put my colors, but I'm an adult. Okay, but I'm not going to allow my children to go to school like that. I'm the adult here, not you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to buy your clothes. And when you stand up, make your children have your way. Well, when they go to school, they're going to do the teachers the same thing. So I am glad that Miss Julie did this. And what I want you to do, I'm going to hang up, and I want you to look at school uniforms around the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be shocked. Even Honduras is in it, but Honduras is in it, and you got Peru, you got South Korea, you got India, you got all kind of countries there. Japan is there, and you have to see how these children dress.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that, then you can talk from it. So you go to school uniforms around the world,
mm-hmm.
and you look, and you pass your opinion about it. I'm going to listen to you.
All right. Hey, thanks very much.
And I want to tell you about, I started my project,
You did? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm starting it. And boy, Sterling,
I will start mine too.
I got a lot of work to do. Oh, but then you can come help me since you are start yours, you and Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
Sterling, go and look at that, and then you can talk of different countries,
Yeah.
how some of these children are dressed, and you'll be surprised to see
But
how
what?
those uniforms are.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay?
Hey,
Okay.
all right. Thanks much, Mom. Thanks much. All right. I'm looking at something she sent. Ray Singh, we got one more caller. Good luck, Ray. Let's go to the phones.
I can hold my tongue a little longer.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. I don't know if you
Yeah, ma. How are you?
Good afternoon to them if they're there.
All right.
I just tuned in, so I'm tuning in a little late. Is it this topic on about wearing uniforms or some dress code?
Well, yes, that can be the topic. It's open line, and we just, picking up what our callers want to share. So, yes, that is the topic of now.
Yeah, well, I want to agree. I think you called Miss Reba Jefferson just called
Mhm.
about uniforms. She's 100%. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, from the last education minister,
Mhm.
Honorable Tara was, said that they was going to implement a rule that children or law that children are supposed to carry a certain dress code. Well, as a parent, I haven't seen that been fulfilled because what we need to go back, if we go back to drawing board and put back what we had in school before that worked, we need to put that back because the boys was not allowed to wear earrings. They were not allowed to wear, they were supposed to be neat trimmed, their uniforms properly, and the same thing applied to the girls. The girls were supposed to be their uniform a certain way, and people used to praise. I've had a tourist that told me that they were so proud to see how the Cayman Islands children wear their uniform compared to some places. Compared to some places, that they were so proud that we should keep our dress code, but our dress code is gone way out of whack now. So I think we need to go back to drawing board and take from there. And I want to compliment the Minister of Education if she's emphasized it. Go right ahead. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Hey, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for sitting in for a few minutes with us as our guests got settled, but you brought us a bevel of calls, so
I have that power, all the calls kind of funneled in with some very emotionally charged topics, no doubt.
Yeah. I was looking at, as Reba shared, we type in these search engine school uniforms around the world. And, well, your perspective, I mean.
On the
uniforms and if you want to weigh in, I know you got some other work to get back to. So
I'm not going to weigh in as far as whether it's right or wrong. I mean, the reality is there's been a uniform policy for a number of years. I think when it comes to ultimately the purpose of school and education is to raise children to be motivated for success, to be motivated to work hard, be motivated to do a lot of things. I think sometimes a focus on the uniform versus the focus on motivating a child to want to be successful is a fine line difference. Dressing for success is an important scenario. Dressing in a uniform is not always the exact same scenario. And
conformity.
It tends to be what comes more conformative versus to be successful. Is to want to maximize on your own potential. But I do understand the purpose of the uniforms in school. It's to create an element of professionalism for these young students. I think there's a necessity, and one only hopes that it's the children actually and the parents do respond happily to this too.
I think most of the schools, and probably almost all of the parents over the years, just in conversation, they welcome uniforms for every reason. It makes it easier for some. I know what I want to wear.
I understand. I mean, to be very fair, one of the now my political view, I know there's some conversations that are leaning towards political sides. My views politically, I've always tended to be on the conservative side. However, I'm also very much personally, I've never been a fan of the uniform policy for kids. I do understand the element of team building and that element for teams and belonging to a team. I understand that scenario. But I've never seen the value of that with a uniform with school. Quite a number of professions in the world don't require uniforms. A vast majority of them don't require uniforms. There are certain safety regimens for certain uniforms. There are certain identifying markers for policemen, for example, to be able to distinguish a uniformed police officer versus a uniformed firefighter. There's belonging to that scenario, but you're not in uniform right now. I'm not in uniform right now. We are dressed professionally. We're dressed for our success in our career paths, but we are not actually in uniform.
So you're not, you said you're not necessarily in favor of the uniform policy for schools. Why? Expand on that for me.
I don't like the idea of conformity when it comes to children. I like the idea of having a child, and that's my personal viewpoints of that.
Fair enough.
For example, I'm also a big fan of homeschooling. I see a lot of value in
great
homeschooling
value in
as
that,
well. Right?
Yeah.
Not that there's no value in organized, structured education. I guess I like the idea that children are
meet a child where the child's at.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's meet a child where a child is at. Now, there is a very important element when it comes back to the uniform policy of ensuring that children are learning the value of dressing for success. And the reality is dressing unprofessional or dressing as though you don't care usually translates into not caring in real life. And
but
that's, I think, the important part of that policy.
Yeah, we'll look at people, let's say, working in an office environment.
Yep.
Over the years, there's a Friday dress code that has been relaxed, depending on the environment. The other days, you'll see people, even though let's say it's a large organization, they may not have a uniform for staff. We know certain employers have uniform. You find that some of the staff may tend to wear similar type things. The men may have a particular style shirt and slacks. The women likewise, right? Monday through Thursday, as it were. So even though there may not be a uniform, we all sort of conform and develop a particular style.
We do dress, and there's what's called the dress code, right? So instead of a uniform policy, there is a standard. Like there's a standard of what dressing for the environment that you're in. And one of the callers mentioned, if you're going to a club, you dress for the club. If you're going to work, you dress for work. If you're going home, you you have your home attire. And there's dressing for the occasion. And so I think there's a very important factor into teaching students how to dress for success.
Sorry, go ahead.
I guess teenagers tend to be rebellious, and it's in their DNA to be rebellious. So as soon as you tell a child sit still, the first thing a teenager is going to do is try to find ways to.
There are a number of interesting TED talks. There's a fellow from the UK. He has a knighthood and the like, and many of us probably have read or watched some of his TED talks, and he seems to have a particular perspective on education and the like. And maybe it's something as we look at, transforming and not just reforming our education system, whether we have uniforms or whether we have a dress code or whether we spend so much time enforcing the length of the sock or the color of the shoe that we take away from valuable teaching and learning. But nonetheless, we want our children to be respectfully presented.
Absolutely.
Is your hair, gray or blue? Is it distracting? I don't know.
It's true. And I think one of the fundamentals of any education scenario should be, and I said it before, is the children have to be motivated to want to succeed.
Right.
And that's, generally speaking, forcing someone to do something is not usually going to create a motivating atmosphere.
Right. We have one quick call before the news. I know you got work to do. All right. So if you want to hear the caller, let's see what the caller says.
Of course, absolutely.
Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling Ebanks. I'm your guest, Mr. Ray King.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. I just want to call and express my sentiments for our honorable national hero, Sybil McCucken, celebrating her birthday today.
Yes.
And to our former MLA, Mr. Arthur, who has lost his mother. So sentiments go to him and his family in this terrible time of tragedy. And I wish him all his strength and that he be strengthened by the Lord in this time, along with his family.
Yes, sir. We do apologize. We missed the last part, but I believe there were some condolences. So certainly, as people mourn their loss and so they celebrate, we reflect on it. Yes, sir. Anything fine?
Arthur's mother.
Yeah.
Are you hearing me, sir?
No, sir. We missed that part. You were expressing condolences to someone on their loss.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. Perhaps Susan can connect up to that. But that's challenging. And this is sometimes the use and abuse and the lack of regulation, proper effectiveness of technology at times. So do apologize for our caller not being able to gather. But Ray, we live in a society that is connected, that is almost immediate in its pursuit of gratification and reward and recognition. And sometimes we don't stop to look at how that impacts future generations or even the legacy that we are, experiencing.
Technology is that's a whole another conversation for a whole another day. And there's some great literature out there for those that are interested on the effects of how technology has actually changed how our brains process information and how we're receiving our dopamine hits internally. And there's some great information out there, and I would encourage anyone to actually look into it, especially looking into how it actually affects going back to the education of your teenagers.
Man. All right. What Susan says, quickly get to the news.
Sterling Dwayne, thank you so much for having me on the show.
I do
appreciate it.
Couple of minutes with me, man. Get back to work, right?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Ms. Janae Belafonte will join us after the break, and looking forward to having her in the studio. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Postal Service releases a new collection of 4 stamps to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Cayman Airways Limited, CAL. The new stamps in value denominations of 25 cents, 80 cents, $1 and $1.50 depict aircrafts in CAL's current fleet. A first-day cover, FDC, is being issued with the stamps at a sale price of $4.35 for collectors. The stamps were created in collaboration with Cayman Airways and are available for purchase at all post offices in the Cayman Islands. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Rebel activity around a town in the Democratic Republic of Congo is complicating the battle against Ebola, the World Health Organization has said. The WHO's Peter Salama spoke of extremely serious security concerns around the eastern town of Oicha. An Ebola outbreak erupted in the region on August 1st, with 63 deaths to date. The Trump Organization's finance boss, Alan Weisselberg, has reportedly been granted legal immunity in the probe into Michael Cohen. He was summoned to testify earlier this year in the investigation into Cohen, Donald Trump's longtime former lawyer. Cohen pleaded guilty on Tuesday to handling hush money for Mr. Trump in violation of campaign finance laws. And a Japanese woman will be flying through the glass ceiling as she becomes her country's first female fighter pilot. First Lieutenant 26-year-old Misa Matsushima will begin duty today, having completed her training to fly F-15s. Japan's Air Force began recruiting women in 1993. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.